Alrighty, so in a few days from now, we are going to have the second phase of 3.1 drop, and Mydei will be out. And Mydei is actually looking to be a pretty hyped character for a lot of people. So everyone's wondering, do you need his light cone? What are other good alternatives? Is he a character where you have to get his light cone, similar to characters such as Acheron, who really suffer without it? And I am here to help answer those questions. Now, to get to the rough question out of the way, yes, most DPSs are going to be losing out on a ton of damage when they don't have a light cone. However, there are some good alternatives for Mydei, so you don't need his light cone, and that is pretty nice because there's a lot of characters who really just don't have a good option. One of those characters actually being, funny enough, Aglia, because there's new Remembrance characters, and it's really just by the Battle Pass one, or you didn't really have anything at the time. Luckily, we have a Remembrance Lycon that was free that also has speed, so she got a few other options, but not having a lot of options for Lycon is very, very rough for a character. Funny enough, a character like Yunli actually has quite a bit of options in the game, which is nice because her Lycon, while being very, very strong, still lets you actually summon for the character and not dread having to go for Lycon as well. Because not everybody is going to either have the luck to pull both a character and a Lycon, or even the funds to even attempt to do that. So having free to play stuff is pretty nice. Now, first things first, we have to talk about the light cones that good old Mydei can use. Now, Mydei is a destruction character, so we have destruction light cones, and Mydei actually scales off something a little bit different, and that is HP. While there are HP scaling light cones for destruction, thanks to characters like Blade and Arlen, not everybody's going to be as nice, such as the Danheng Lycone, which increases attack. Mydei cannot use that, so we're going to try to stray away from those Lycones, but you can use those if you need to, as Danheng's Lycone actually gives crit rate and energy regen, which Mydei can use if he needs to, right? There's just really a stat stick and not the full passive, but we're going to be looking for Lycones that you can fulfill the full passive of, and you're not just using to have an extra couple rolls in a crit stat or HP, right? Now, first things first, the light cones that he can use are going to be Secret Vow, which increases damage dealt by the wearer by 40%, and then an extra 40% if you have less HP percentage than the enemy you are attacking. Since Mydei is a HP skilled character and he works similar to Blade, he will drain his own HP to do damage, and he'll also heal himself. So if you can get him pretty low, then you'll be doing a lot more damage to the enemy, right? This one is going to be a bit niche though, because there are instances where you're either gonna just heal more and then you have more HP, or the enemy just dies too quick and you just lose out on the damage because you hit them once and then suddenly they're slow, right? And we want to see big damage, right? Next up, a okay Lycone is Flames Afar. When HP is lost by the wearer during a single attack exceeds 25% of their max HP, or if the HP they consume is greater than 25%, they immediately heals them for 15%, increases damage dealt by 50% for 2 turns. This effect can only be triggered once every 3 turns. So main issue with this Lycone is it can only be triggered once every 3 turns, and the buff is only 2 turns. No idea why they would do that. The buff is pretty nice. 50% damage dealt is nothing to scoff at, and luckily all of Mydei's skills actually drain more HP than the Lycone needs. I believe it's 35, 45, and I think it's 30 for all of them. I could be wrong on that, but I do know they're all above 25%, which is pretty damn nice. If this Lycone didn't have the every 3 turns on it, I'd say it would be a really, really good option, but it does sting that you do miss out on a whole turn of the buff, but at least the buff is pretty nice, right? Next up, obviously, Mydei's actual Lycone, right? Should have probably started with this. Mydei's actual Lycone increases his max HP by 18% and incoming healing by 20%. When using a skill or ultimate, it consumes HP equal to 6% of the wearer's max HP and increases damage dealt to this attack by 30%. If the effect's consumed HP is greater than 500, the damage additionally increases by 30%. If the current HP is not significant enough, you will just be at 1 HP and call it a day. So, Mydei's Lycone not only increases his max HP, which he scales off of, increases his incoming healing to help him keep him alive, and then just does damage. And there you go. That's the whole Lycone. We're trying to get stuff similar to that. Another really good Lycone, which unfortunately, while being a free Lycone, is no longer free. Now, if you head on over to the Herta space station and go to the Simulated Universe or Divergent Universe, right, you can go and check out the Herta store. Right now, the Herta store, unfortunately, at the time of recording this, does not have the newest light cones. We only have the tutorial mission, which is the Hildy one. We have Hay over here, which is the Abundance one, and the Harmony for Tomorrow's Journey. These light cones are pretty much used on like Robin, Lynx, Natasha, I mean, various healers, and then stuff like Sir Wolf, Pela, who want effect hit rate. Unfortunately, we do not have the Rappa light cone. Hopefully they add it soon because that light cone is actually pretty damn good. Um, Going back over to the nice tribute banner. But anyway, that light cone is actually pretty damn good. It increases the wearer's max HP by 12%. When losing or restoring this unit's HP, increases crit damage by 18%. Lasts for 2 turns. But since it's free, you get 24 and 36 instead. That's pretty damn good. This can trigger once per turn. So unlike the Firefly light cone, you can actually just have this permanently up, meaning you have 24% max HP permanently and 36% extra crit damage, right? Pretty nice. Then we, funny enough, have Blade's light cone, which actually is not too bad. It increases the wearer's crit rate by 18%, and increases their max HP by 18%. When the wearer's attacker consumes their own HP, I can speak, the damage increases by 24%. This effect is removed after the wearer uses an attack. And that is that. That's really all the light cones he can fully benefit from, right? So let's go over here to the light cones. I actually forgot to add the Arlen one. Where is that? It's right here. So these are the HP scaling light cones that work with Mydei's kit. Like I said, you could use something like Don Hangs right here because it gives crit rate, but we are going to put that to the side because the rest of the passive doesn't really work too well. Like, it does work. He can get the buffs, but it doesn't really go with his playstyle, so I'm going to neglect those ones, right? But if you do need more crit rate, right, you have a lot of crit damage, you just need more crit rate. This one isn't a bad one, especially if you don't have blades, which also gives crit rate. Just rock the Don Hang one if you're not using it, you know? But anyway, in terms of how useful they are, obviously Mydei is going to be at the top. Then I'd say blades is the second best because it gives crit rate, HP, and damage dealt. Next up is going to be the free Herta Store one. Well, going to be Herta Store one. Sorry, it's the event one. Then we have the Samlight Cone and then Secret Vow. The reason I am rating these like this is because Secret Vow can be a little annoying to always proc because Mydei actually heals quite a bit. So it's going to be a little hard to get him in the right thresholds for all that. Then for the Sam light cone, it's literally just because the turn restriction, you can't always have the buff up. Rappa's light cone, or the Rappa event light cone, is going to give you constant HP and crit damage, and it's going to be a permanent uptime, so big W there. The blade one is a bit higher because it's giving you HP crit rate, which I believe to be the better stat, in my opinion, right? A lot of people really swear on crit damage, some people swear on crit rate. I think it is nicer to have a bit more crit rate and then focus on getting more crit damage rolls, right? So it's giving you crit rate, HP, which is very similar to this, but it's also giving you damage dealt, so it's going to edge out this light cone a little bit. And then Mydei's obviously signature light cone is going to be his best, right? But like I said before, if you are missing crucial stats like crit rate and you end up not critting, and you're using this light cone, go ahead and slide yourself like at the Don Hang light cone so you can get some extra crit rate. It all depends on what you need to your build at the end of the day. However, if your build is good without a light cone and you're just looking to add extra damage, then I would say this is going to be the order. Other than that, that'll pretty much be it for Mydei's light cone options. Very glad there is a okay amount considering he is a bit out of the normal attack percent, crit damage, niche damage dealer, right? There's a good amount of HP scaling units now, which thankfully, right? Wait until we start getting defense based units, more like a Venturine, but like a DPS based, because oh my lord, imagine getting a hunt character that scales off of defense that wants like specific stats. There's like no way to really just have a light cone for that, which is pretty annoying building characters. Luckily, if I do pull Mydei, I'm not going to be too stressed about getting his light cone because I do have the Rappa event light cone and I'll just use that instead. It gives good stats. If we only had stuff like this, like if we only had these two, I'd be like, okay, well, you might as well just get Mydei's Lycon. But since we do have the free Rapid one, and then if you are a Blade Enjoyer and just have this as well, there's other options. It's a bit more relieving just pulling for the one copy of him, right? Because I know a lot of people only grab one unit and then they're like, damn, my unit's so underwhelming. And that's because, unfortunately, sometimes they like to sell Lycon for a character in a way that makes their kit incomplete. Kind of like how Acheron wants more stacks, and her Lycon really helps with stacking up her ultimate, especially when she was released. That was rough. But anyway, like I said, that's it for the video. Let me know in the comments if you're starting for Mydei, if you're going for dupes, if you're going for the Lycon before you go in for dupes, or you're going for just the Lycon for maybe like Blade or something. Let me know in the comments, and of course, I'll catch y'all in the next one.